Good afternoon. Welcome to Options Center. You guys apologize, have not been on the channel for quite some time. I was on vacation. I also caught a cold, so just trying to get some rest and still looking at the charts, but I need to share a couple things with you since we have NVDA coming up. As soon as this event is out of the way, then we will be in the clear to make some moves, more moves on the market. I do think we had our reversal. So on the market, so we'll just kind of look around the charts. We'll check out SPY, QQQ. We have a trade set up to the long side on Tesla. We're in a few contracts, so make sure you stick around for that. We'll look at NVDA and the VIX. And I'll go through this fairly quick so we can get you guys going here right before the bell. All right. So thanks for joining us. If you're new here, go down to that bottom right-hand corner, hit that Options Center logo, and subscribe. So thanks for joining us here. In past videos, I've been saying we're going to test this top zone. I think we're going to go down to test down here in this bottom zone. And what I mean by zone is this consolidation box here. I think we will retest these highs. I think that's very important for this breakout if it wants to continue to the upside or if it's going to break down from there. But either way, I think we test these levels, bounce, continue to go down. That's our primary. That's our primary scenario. Primary scenarios that we had our wave 5 in here, and that it was a expanding diagonal where we had a 3-wave move up for 1, 3-wave move for 2, 3, 4, and 5. Each wave expanding more than the last. So we have 1, 3 is larger than 1, 5 is larger than 3. Wave 2, and then wave 4 is larger than wave 2. That's our expanding ending diagonal. I think this is over. We're testing the 20 moving average, and we're getting a nice doji off of there. So I really do think that we're going to get a bounce here, and we'll check that out more on the 65-minute chart, and we'll roll around the. By the way, our when we talk about this area down here, the recent highs, our ending diagonal. This would be our bullish scenario where if we meet these highs here at the bottom of this consolidation zone that I was talking about, that would be the 50% retracement all the way from this point to this point, which would be in this scenario an ending diagonal where you have a 3-wave move up for 1, 3-wave move down for 2. This would be the end of wave 3 that we're correcting. So I still, no matter what, I think we're correcting. And I think we continue to move down in either scenario. The difference would be where this is a possible wave 4, or in the other case would be the wave 1. Okay? So wave 4 says we go higher. We reach new highs here. And the only reason why I think, the reason why I have this, and I'm telling you guys this, is because the Fed hasn't pivoted yet. The Fed hasn't been able to pivot yet because of the inflation being out of control. But we do see some deterioration underneath with like retail sales and things like that. I know this a lot of, I don't talk about this stuff much on the charts, but this kind of guides us in our long term. The Fed is the only thing that really matters. Overall liquidity, okay? And with the Fed not, and I'm not saying that the Fed is the cause of a recession. I think it's really the other way around. I think the Fed is a signal that there's something wrong in the market and they have to turn around rates in order to compare with what the market is doing. So I don't agree that it's the tail that wags the dog, that the FOMC moves the market. I think it's the other way around. The market moves the Fed. And so we'll know what's kind of happening as we get this retracement. I do think that we'll see some more data come out through time, and we'll look to see if this is a nice 3-wave move or if this is a 5-wave impulsive move to the downside. that will be very telling on what happens next. So not to drive so much, I'll keep talking about this each video. So make sure you hit that notification button, and because that's very important. That's our two pathways are leading in the same direction right now. And so we're correcting no matter what. And I do think QQQ comes down to this 400 and possibly testing this uptrend line before getting its bounce in the same similarities. I don't think it's just going to fly right through, but we're getting this nice doji. And all I think that we're going to do in the next couple days is into Friday or Monday is we broke down from these trend lines, and I just think we're going to back test. That's all I'm looking for. And really what I'm looking for is a 1-2-1-2 setup. And again, when we get to 65, I'll show you what that is. So the bulls and the bears will be looking at the same setup in opposite directions. Okay, so I'll show you in a little bit. That's the Qs. Now the VIX, and then we'll go over to NVIDIA and Tesla. The VIX right here, this is what I was talking about. I still have the projections up here, and this is not exactly where it pops out from, but this was our volatility box that we were talking about. We broke out from it, back test, and move up. So right now we're getting this doji, possible reversal to the downside, and I do think we might partially at least close this gap to test this box again, and especially if we get under this 15, which I think we will. And so that will send the market up for a couple days, 1 or 2 days perhaps. On the third, maybe we get a doji on the second or third day. So again, we'll be monitoring that, but that's the VIX. It already broke out from this box, so we are bearish. We continue to be bearish, and now we can push a little bit harder on the bear side, but just watch out for this correction these next couple days. Okay, NVIDIA is having its earnings tonight after the bell. Had quite the move to the downside. Really, it's really nothing. We're just testing this 20-day moving average. And remember, I said the last video I did with NVIDIA, I think this is wave 3 that we're completing here. I do think we have one more wave up. Can we get it in the earnings? I don't know. I'm not gambling on it. I am playing SMH in the near term bullish and in the longer swings. That's a hedge to my longer bearish swings. Okay, so I definitely want to share that with you. I have near-term hedges on SPY, Qs, Tesla, and NVIDIA, and then all of my other stuff is long-term swings to the downside. So let's just go to the Elliott wave picture, and this is kind of how I'm counting this here as a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 complete for the wave 3. And the wave 3 can be complete at the former, that's a former wave 4, or this former wave 4. So here's 2 scenarios. There can be an infinite amount of scenarios, right? But we're getting a doji off the 20. Perhaps we gap up and make new highs, and then have a gap and crap. Okay, that would maybe a couple days up or something like that. Maybe we make new highs and complete this wave 5 up top. And then the other scenario is maybe we actually complete this wave 4, maybe a gap down into the 382, and we start to get a rebound, which will help the market also rebound. Even though the gap down will be bearish, we'll probably start off the day negative. If that's the case, we'll watch to see if we come to the 633 area, which is former zone here, and then we can get a doji from there and a rebound, and that can help the market also rebound. Okay, what can also help deal with the market excuse me, is Tesla was really tightening up into this triangular sort of move, broke down from it, and is at the point of control. And I just don't think this is enough rebound for it. I do think we're possibly are going to go to this 210 and back test this triangle and possibly up to the 215 area. And where do I get those numbers? We'll go ahead and move down to the 65 minute, and I'll show you. And we'll go backwards, back through the list there in the video there. So I think We're looking somewhat like a bear flag, which is fine. We have a 3-wave move up, which means this can be complete, and we can just start moving to the downside. I'll take off my puts if we get underneath this options expected move around the 191 area, because we're triangulating here. If we break down, I'll get out of those and let my puts, my longer term puts work. Now we start breaking to the upside, which I think that's the more likely scenario. That means that we have a complex ABC. This is an ABC, and then for a larger A, and let me move over to the screen here. What I want to do ultimately is close this gap here. There's more gaps that can be closed, but I'm just looking for the meat on this move here. In this 210 area would be a nice spot to take off. I'll definitely take off most of my positions and leave some runners all the way up to possibly the next gap, 215. Where do I get those numbers? Let's go to the Elliott wave. And with this being a 3-wave move up for A right here, and then I think this is actually, as of the price action today, in the lower time frame, I didn't mark it in the lower time frame. I think we're getting in for the wave B. This is all wave B, and I think this is an A. It's a triangle, B, C, D, and an E, completing this triangle today. And that's the triangle that we have on the traditional technical analysis. So we have this triangle completing here. Actually, I won't draw it on this one. I already have it on the other one. And we're completed here. And now just what we're doing is we're kind of breaking up. We're going to get a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 continuation. And so going back to the hourly time frame, what I'm getting at is, first of all, this 100% move here, that's this inverse head and shoulder. If the inverse head and shoulder plays out to a measured move, you have the bottom of the head to the neckline and then the breakout zone. So that would bring us up to about the 213, 214 area for that measured move. And all the price action was doing was breaking out of that inverse head and shoulder, back testing, and now heading higher. And I do think this is going to be an impulse move. It's going to be very rapid. And I think most of it happens tomorrow, possibly with a reversal. I don't want to guess too much, but I think this move will be going into the end of the week, and we'll be taking off most of our first set of puts will be taken off at about the 204 area at the top here. And then we'll let a couple more go to about the 209, 210 to close the gap. And then we'll let some runners go to about 214. Okay, 215. So that's our game plan. I think we're looking good and solid. This is let me get that out of the way. I was just looking at retracements. Some people can look at this as a 1-2 setup, but with the consolidation getting really tight there, either way, it doesn't matter. This could be a wave B, and this is 1-2, and then we have our 3, 4, 5. That's possible too, but either way you count it, it's going to start breaking out and heading to the upside. Okay, now going back to NVDA, not much more to say on it. I just want to give you the 65-minute perspective. And we had this beautiful channel here that we broke down from. And so that was a really hard breakdown after a gap underneath the channel. And we're starting to get divergences here. So we're starting to get some divergences, not in the MACD. We're starting to cross over, but in the RSI and the slow Stokes. And so that's the kind of thing I look at to see if we're at a support area, which we are, this former wave 4. And we're pushing up here towards the end of the bell. And so all I think we're doing is back testing this channel breakdown, but I think we have further to go. We'll see what, that's just in a vacuum where there wouldn't be earnings, but we'll see what earnings does. And then we'll play off of that afterwards. You have to react after. Excuse me. All right. Sorry about that. I had to stop the video for a second. Okay, so we'll go backwards to the VIX. And on the lower time frame, we'll be able to see with this VIX, it's really just, forming this huge megaphone, this expanding sort of action here. And what I noticed towards the end of this video was we had, you know, this impulsive wave here, but then we had another one here, and we started to break down from this wedge. And so that's where I said, man, we're starting to get this, we're probably going to get a bounce in SPY and QQQ in the markets here with the breakdown of the wedge. So I do think it's possible we close either half or all of this gap here to make another lower high, and then the VIX can again start moving to the upside, and that would be, we would start to get much larger moves here in the markets. And I'll show you, starting off with the Qs. Starting off with the Qs in 65, we had this large wedge that we broke down from. We're starting to form somewhat a channel. I don't want to confuse you with that, but it looks like the top of the channel might be our target area. Trying to close the gap. We're starting to break out from this mini downtrend line here. And, what we'll be looking at then is this, you know, this is not expanding out here and starting to move. So there's two ways you can look at it. This is a 3-wave move so far, and that means this could be a wave 4 and we head higher, or that's the bull scenario, which if we start breaking this downtrend line, that would be the case. But really, I just think we're back testing this wedge, and this now would be considered, because these are both 5 waves, this would be a 1 2 1 2. Okay, I don't have it marked here, I don't believe yet, but what we'll look for is this initial yellow 1 2, and then I got to put another 1, and we're going to retrace possibly to the 430 432 area. It doesn't have to get that high, but we have a downtrend line here also. So around this 430 areas where we'll take off a lot of these hedges. And looks like Tesla's starting to move here. We're getting some action towards the end. Yeah, so we're starting our bounce already. And I think this is a 1 2 1 2, and this is really going to start playing out to the downside if we start breaking any of these lows. And so same thing with the SPY, exact same setup. Let me go to the hourly, and I'll get this video out. So again, now this sort of looks like let me go to the other board. This sort of looks like a triangle at this point. So now people are going to say, yes, this is a wave 4 triangle, and we consolidate in here, and then we start breaking up, and we go to higher levels. That's possible. And so if we start breaking that downtrend line, that would be the case. I'm playing this bearish, and this is our uptrend from the wedge. I just think we're back testing it. And again, I think this 500 area looks really good for the back test, and I get that from the 62% retracement here. So I'll adjust that since price went a little lower. And you'll notice that we're getting this big move here. I do think we might have a possibility of gapping down, because this is we'll get an ABC somewhere in here, and it's probably going to be a nice sharp zigzag. So I do think we're going to gap down possibly tomorrow, and then just get a move up after that. And so that could be possibly from NVDA gapping down and then bouncing, and then we'd also hold on the market and bounce to the upside. Okay, so we'll hold on to our calls. We just have a few more points up here to about the 500 level, and we're just looking for a bounce. And then you know, this really, we're at the 382, and that could be it, you guys. That could be it. So put on your hedges to the downside, and that's it. We'll watch to see what NVIDIA has to offer. Have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.